Hello everyone. In this video we're going to take a very brief look at the history of bathrooms. So in ancient cultures, just diving right in, really thinking about bathrooms and probably the most critical part, the toilet function was performed very far away from the home, right? This was not something that was part of people's houses, let's say. And bathing played an important role in many societies as water was often used in religious or political ceremonies. So, each society, over time has had a very unique version of cleansing as, appropriate for their culture and area. There's actually evidence of flush toilets in India and Egypt as early as 2500 BC. Thinking about ancient Rome was famous for the Roman baths, and this whole ritual of bathing, it was a tradition, and it really extended all across the empire. There's ancient ruins of these Roman baths, and they've been found in England, the Middle East, Northern Africa. And really, to the Romans, bathing was a public ritual, very different than we think of today. It was really an opportunity to, not only take care of themselves, but socialize, possibly rub elbows with the elite. And thinking about then the European Crusaders who traveled to the East, between about 1095 and 1291, they brought back home the love of steam baths. So England in the Middle Ages actually favored steam baths as their way of bathing. And actually many social activities took place in and around the baths. And actually at that time, kind of surprisingly, I think, men and women could bathe together. However, for modesty purposes, women covered their hair. Kind of thinking about, public toilets a little bit. This one pictured here, found in ruins in Italy, gives us a good idea about what toilet life was like back then. So a little bit different than we think of today. However, of course, these are just the ruins. These are just what's left, not, of course, the entire original structure that would have actually been there. Europe, from about 500 to 1500 AD, we don't like to think about it, but human waste was just thrown into the streets. The water closet was then invented for Queen Elizabeth I and invented by Sir John Harington in the 16th century. We often think of the person that invented the modern toilet as Sir Thomas Crapper, but in fact, it was not him. That's a common misconception. But he did, however, improve the functionality of the early flush toilet. So we still owe him a debt of gratitude, most certainly. Then when we get to, about the early 20th century, the 19th century, that's really when this whole concept of germs really came to light. And that really wasn't that long ago. But until then, people just didn't know. So at that point, taking a bath, cleaning the body with soap was, generally thought of as a good idea. So then more and more homes began to be plumbed for water. Gas heaters became more widely available. And actually the middle class started to enjoy the experience of bathing at home for the first time. Then, as we get to the end of World War I, World War II, Hollywood movies started to really glamorize the bathrooms at home. And the rise of the middle class really added to the demand of certain luxuries being in the bathroom. So much like the kitchen, the bathroom was becoming a source of pride, especially for women. The whole idea of escapism also started to become more popular and be, associated with a bathroom. And it's really, it became synonymous with this idea of privacy and retreat. And then getting into, post-World War II, for sure, all new neighborhoods, all the new houses that were being built were plumbed for hot water. And if we think about the US in the 70s, according to the US Census in 1973, 40% of the homes being built featured 1.5 baths or less, and only 19% had 2.5 baths. Then fast forward to 2013, only about 5% of new constructed homes were built with only 1.5 bathrooms, and 32% featured 2.5. So the rest all have 3 or more. So, thinking about bathrooms today, where does that take us? Well, at this point, basically anything is possible if you have the funding to do it. So, we can have, sensors that turn on lights. We can have massive showers with multiple shower heads. We can have, stereo systems and televisions, and we can have refrigeration units for like medicine cabinets and cosmetics. We can have in-floor heating, steam-free mirrors. I mean, you name it, you can do it if you want to.